Hey friends and fans of Bob's Barn Workshop, here I am again. Yeah, I know it's been weeks since I put a video out. I have been in Florida on my yearly February 3-week trip to Florida to play some shows and visit my family. So I'm going to be home for 2 days and I'm gone for another week. So I had this video in the archives. I'm going to start finishing off the building the addition. This section we're getting into now is doing the ceiling and the insulation in the ceiling, and I show you a little bit of electrical work, sealing up some of the gaps. So it's just fiddling around, you know. I try to show people that it isn't just poof, it's done. You've got all this little stuff you've always got to mess around with and finish and patch the cracks and caulking and wiring and trim, window trim, and just, you know, miscellaneous stuff that just adds up to more and more work. So when I get back, I'm going to show you wiring the power, because yes, my car lift has already gone in. It went in while I was in Florida. I haven't even looked at it yet. Maybe we'll go out there. Well, when I go to wire it, I'll show that. So just want to let you know, I'm still alive, still putting out videos. I've just been busy and been away. So I'm going to be gone again, so almost a month out of the house, but when I get back I got lots of stuff to show you. And I also have another channel called Bob's Retro Electronic Workshop, and I do old Commodore stuff and different projects with retro computers and retro electrical stuff and electronics. So take a look at that when you get a chance. I've only got a few videos up, but I'm making some more. Alright, we'll see you soon. Hope you enjoy the video. Well, we're back in the barn a couple days after Christmas, and yeah, it is the 27th, and you can obviously hear that it's raining like crazy, so I guess I should be thankful that it's not snow. But I don't know if you saw this earlier. I'll show you now. We've got the first row of the insulating mylar foam up, which is my vapor barrier and insulation, and of course the joints will be taped, so it'll be one continuous piece all the way across. So now the next step is to put another row of steel. Put a row of steel up. If you look carefully, you can see we actually bent the foam down around and wrapped it behind the J-mold to make basically an airtight gasket is what I did that for. Alright, so, and we're going to do something different for here. Instead of cutting holes through the steel, we're going to take a measurement on how high that rail is and how far from the wall. And you can see that one truss right there. So after we get the steel up, we're going to put like a 2-foot piece of that angle iron, because I've got a lot of that angle iron. Lag that up into the truss through the steel, and then we can cut our own new legs to length. We might be able to just use that piece right there and just cut it to length to make it fit, and then we won't have to try to cut around all this stuff and piece it in as we put it up. And I'm going to do the same thing with the heater. The heater is going back over in this corner, and I've decided what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, after we get the steel up, I got to run my gas pipe over here and my electric. But right about here, about 4 foot out from the wall, 6-8 foot out from the wall, I got to make sure that my vent will shoot between 2 studs, so I don't have trouble with that, so I can put the thimble through. And I'm just going to run 2 4-foot pieces of that angle iron on top of the steel over to the edge and lag it to hang my heater. Now I could make them stick out past this end a little bit even, but that heater's not heavy. 2 good lag screws up into that stud will hold it, no problem. There's the box with the electric power in it, and the gas pipe I've got to run across this truss from the other side of the barn, because that's where the gas valve is on the other side. So I've got to go up over the rafters of the barn here. But I'm just going to let it dangle down here for now, and we'll poke a hole when we put the steel up. So today we're going to start putting this steel up. So what I've got to do is I got to get everything moved and out of here that I don't absolutely need that will be in the way. So everything, almost everything we want to move against the far wall. I want to get rid of this table, sawhorses. Maybe not the sawhorses because we might need to cut steel on it. Cut out, we're going to have to locate the electric boxes for these lights. They don't have to be precise because the lights have cords on them. So they just got to be in the general area. So I basically want to just put outlets in a straight wall, maybe 6 feet out, 7 feet out. The lights I want about 7 feet out from each edge. So, sorry, a lot of explanation, but I'm just going to clean all this up. All that insulation I'm going to pile up against the wall, the unused OSB and stuff, because when we get to about here with putting all the steel up, see you know, rolling scaffold and stuff can be way over here. We'll only have like 2 rows left. Then we can move everything on this wall over to that wall out of our way. But I just want to get rid of the stuff that I don't need. Scraps, dirt, anything. Extra wood, pieces for the scaffolding and all that. They'll have to go. All right. So I'll show you after I get it cleaned up. All right, we have made some great progress. We are into the insulation. We have got the first full 2 rows of steel up. It was a lot of messing around to try to get it lined up right, but now we got it, and it's running pretty straight. Excuse me. So I'm not going to worry too much about it running straight right now. Looks straight to me. And that's all we're ever going to have is the naked eye, right? So we brought all the remaining pieces in out of the rain. So now we're going to be working in here, and we get a couple more rows up. Then we'll have to move the insulation and everything else in here back against this wall, out of the way. And, excuse me, a little snotty. It's kind of really, if you can hear it, it's raining still more. But that ceiling obviously isn't really structural. I mean, it will help square up the trusses and reinforce them. Anything you screw together is going to hold stuff together tighter and keep the... When a truss fails, what happens is the bottom beam of it swings to the side and it buckles. So when you screw roofing like this on it, it prevents them from doing that. So that's why in your basement, if you look up between your floor to joists, you'll see either X braces made out of wood or steel, or full blocks cut and jammed up in there. That's to strengthen the floor. And what it does is it takes the energy from one joist and transfers it to the next one beside it and the next one beside it. So it kind of uniforms the whole floor. But yeah, we're doing good. The bubble pack is going up okay. Nancy and I cut them all this morning, so they're all cut the length and waiting for us to put them up. And the next row, unfortunately, is going to have 1, 2, 3 light boxes in it. And the reason what I'm doing is I got to look up here, and I can get them mounted now. Now that I know the distance between the centers of the wide spaces between the ribs, I can come over here and place mine where I want it to be. And then we'll just have to measure from that far wall, measure from the outside edge of that, cut our hole for the box, cut around it, put it in, and then the light fixtures actually just hang from screw eyes. All right, that's it for now. We get a little bit more ambition to keep going on this, we'll do some more. I took the brace off in the door, so I really can't open the door until I get the brace fixed, so the whole door will drop into the middle of the barn. That would not be pretty. Hey,
Alrighty.
Welcome back, friends and fans. Bob's Barn Workshop. Let's see, what is the date today? 9th, 10th? the 9th of January. Of course, you've already seen the 2 pieces of steel go up, but what I did the last time I was here is I took all those wires that were hanging randomly down and made all my wire boxes up and attached them to the trusses. And I put another row of the foam vapor barrier / insulation up. And I think if I had just that up, it would hold a lot more heat in here. But of course, as I'm pushing the steel up, it flattens it out, and then of course the fiberglass lays on top of that. So I got that done. I got my wood put in the rafters up here. You'll see those 2 2x4s. They are to hang the furnace from. So I'm going to have to leave some marks on the wall over here how far out they are. But of course I'll be able to see the trusses because of the screws. And I want to put the back of the furnace here. I just wanted to leave enough space where I could have the flue pipe make it out through the wall. And the flue pipe center is 6 inches from the left side of the furnace. And you know, that's just about right. If you look at that dark line up there, it says flue. Where's you? Right there. That's where the flue is going to have to go out. Now see, that has to go uphill by 1/4 inch a foot. So I really got to kind of get my furnace hanging. I'm going to hang my furnace about 16 inches down from the ceiling. And so both of the all 3, I've got to have a thermostat wire, I've got to have AC power, and I've got to have the gas line come in there. The gas line, I can bring it right along the truss, right up into the roof of the other barn section. That's a flexible pipe, and that can drop down on the other side of the truss there. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to screw a piece of 1 1/4 PVC, 2 pieces, one for the gas pipe and one for the thermostats, and I'll just put them on there as a sleeve, sticking down just a little bit, so I have to cut a hole for them, but they don't stick too far down below the steel. So I can bring the pipe out, it's sleeved, it's protected from abrasion, blah, blah, blah. I do need to cut a big access hole up here, I think, so I can get up into this part of the attic. I mean, what I'm going to do is I'm going to I've got some 1/2 inch square, what they call hardware cloth, which is basically soldered screen with 1/2 inch squares in it, wire. Put that over the hole so the rodents don't get through. I caught 4 rodents last night in here. That was all my traps had rodents in them. So I set 10 traps now. The little buggers, I see how they're getting in. Over here in the corner of the door, I'm going to try to get this down where you can see. They chewed a hole through that plastic flap, so they got a little hole there. I got to figure out how I can patch that up with some tape or something. I don't know. I'm not real happy about the level of this floor, obviously. When it rains, the water runs under the door. That's not too cool. Not real happy about that. I wish there was a little slope to it. But it needs to be level for my lift. And my lift is going like basically right in the center of this slab. So I hope my concrete guy did a good job of making it thick. I told him to. Over 6 inches. I guess that's it for now. My doorman hasn't showed up to fix the spring. He probably never will because, you know, he got paid. So he's done. He said, I'm out of here. All right, so what am I going to do today? Well, I can run the wire up for this. I'm going to run it out of that box over there. A piece of MC steel or metal cased cable hanging down for the electric. I got to go take a hole and drill a hole saw through the ceiling there and bring my gas line. And I don't know if I got some 2-conductor wire here I could use for the thermostat wire. But I think I'm going to go get some dedicated thermostat wire that's a little bit heavier gauge than what I got. It's only 2 wires, basically on and off. All right, that's it for now. I just want to let you know the progress here. Dropped my wire down through for the lift. The post for the lift is supposed to be out here about 12 feet. So that's going to be here. And the lift is almost 12 feet wide, so it's going to take up half the garage. But I want to be able to get my VW in here and so on. All right, see ya. All right, well, what I've done up here for the furnace is I made a couple of sleeves out of 1¼ inch PVC electrical conduit, strapped them to the truss. So they're sticking about 3/4 inch down, so when I put the steel up, I can use my hole saw, and those will be my bushings and sleeves through. So now I'm just stapling the BX, the MX, back across, and it goes down the inside of the ceiling in that barn, and comes out and thereafter down here, and it's going to go over to that there box. So let's get you set up. You can hear it's raining like a banshee again today. I do my best to give you the best view that I can, but you know, I don't have a film crew or anybody to help me do this. So I'm just punching it out as I go. I'm also going to put a sleeve through this wall into the ceiling of the other barn. Especially because of the metal roofing. Alright. Come on, baby. Lean back. I'm moving a little closer. Letters would be the death of me. I'm not doing nothing with that. I'm going to staple it underneath. So the next thing that comes through is my gas line. And I think I'm going to bring it right through there. 3 feet down, put my sleeve right out onto here, right across the top of this, make a pretty good loop, so I got slack when I'm adjusting it. MC, metal casing? Metal clad probably. All right, so now I'm going to come down through there and over to that there box. So I need my shorter ladder. See the two. Too big or too small? And eventually I'm going to put some wood to block off as much as I can here. So I'm going to pull it over like that. So I just need to notch my wire a little bit. find a forky staple. That's a very tough, rugged rim board. They're especially made to support the weight of the second floor. So it's very hard to staple into, is what I'm alluding to. Alright, so that's going to feed right into that box. No, that's not right. So it goes in straight from the top. Come on, do it right, guys. Now, it's got to feed in here, which I already have this box grounded. I got mouse traps set all over. I've had little friends in here. So as you can see, I'm coming down close to that box. And I asked the inspector, and he said I did not need a disconnect because the circuit breaker disconnect is in the same room, less than 50 feet away. So I'm not going to install any more than I have to, you know, and at any cost. So now I got to go find the connector. All right. So this is my junction box. I'll try to get right in your light as much as I can. What I'm doing here is I'm going to pigtail this box up and make it all sealed up. I'm going to leave about a 5-6 foot piece of this MC cable hanging out of the bottom. So I'm going to cut this off. Let me get my electrical pouch. Oh, there we go. Maybe I won't. This all takes time, you know. I guess that's what I'm trying to show. All right. So how do you cut this stuff? Well, it's just aluminum. There's no power, obviously. So shit don't hit you in the face. It could make a nasty cut. All right. I want to go into this back knockout. She's tough. There she goes. Typical electricians, just throw the garbage on the floor for now. I want this stuff to break. There. Yep. I'm going to unwind it some. And as I showed you before, you cut it with your sharp dikes. Squeeze this back down. Now I have the little red riding hood here. And that's your protector for the edge of that metal sight. You see that? Now we take this doojobby, which has little horns inside, to catch this. I thought if you put it on with this on there, it ain't gonna work. I'm just cutting it off. It's just a plastic liner. wrapped around the wires. Okay, make sure you put this on backwards. And be very careful you don't cut into your stupid wires like I did before. This is the worst shit I've ever seen. Alright. Gotta loosen that up a little bit so you can see slack. Come a little too short. That's no big deal. There goes my light. Your light too. I'm just going to pry up the edge of this clamp up here and let her drop right in. This staple. So without damaging the wire, you grab the side of the staple with your pliers, with the nose of it against the wood, and just twist it down. And there, I've loosened it up a smidge. Now this stuff, truthfully I don't know what the best way to do this is. I'm just going to wrap it down in there. Just like that. These ears on the inside of this that splay out. You gotta staple it. Code says 6 inches, within 6 inches of the box. This doesn't have to be on C cable. I'm just because I have a lot of it left. Okay. So let's cut a 6-foot piece of this. Worst case, I'll just put a box up here with a switch. And or maybe even a connector of some sort. Sorry, I'm off camera. I'm just stripping this wire. Oops. Oh, that sucked. Go there anymore. Okay. Red insulator in there like that there. Shoved in tight. I really hate these connectors. But she's on. So I bring that out of the bottom. Yeah, just to make it fancy. I mean, I bring it out of the center of the bottom. So. As I said, you really should be wearing safety glasses because these things poke in the eyes. That's all they do, they shove in and catch. Real great. And I'm just going to put a staple in here. Alright, now just for giggles, I'm going to strip the other end of this. This has got to go to my air compressor. Don't bend the point of that part you cut off too far in so that it cuts into your conductors. I am going to shove a red thing in there eventually. Now these are going to be hot, both of them. It's 220. So I have, maybe not. So all I got to do is color with some indelible ink. So on this guy, white is going to be a hot conductor. So when you get 12-2, you don't get a choice. You can't get red and black. So I'm going to color it with a few stripes of black. Go. I'll do the same on the pigtail that I'm leaving. I think I'm going to hardwire my air compressor in too. Okay, there we go. I think I'll just tack this guy up over here. Just got one right here. Just keep him out of the way. I will put some well, I don't have any tape with me, so I'll put some wire nuts on those. So again, to explain what's going on here is the wire that's coming into this box from the panel has four conductors. I've got the red and the white set up for the furnace, 120 volts. So that's going to go to the wire coming in from the top. The two hot ones coming from that is going to go to the air compressor. I'm going to leave the breaker off, so there shouldn't be any problem. But this box is not going to have any devices in it. So what we're going to do is we're going to peel out the green ones. It's already grounded around the box. So we're just going to strip these back. I'm going to leave some room in case we ever need to hook up. Like I said, if I ever end up hooking up a disconnect switch or something, we'll need to be able to get into the ground wires for that. Orange fairground. I hope somebody maybe is learning a little from this. I mean, I had my own company with a friend for quite a few years. And he had some pretty good jobs he worked on for a couple of guys in our young 20s. Okay, all the grounds are connected. shuffle back, way back. That was a cheer, wasn't it? Hey, Gloria, let me know. Here we go. I'm going to make sure that ground screw is tight. All right, nothing's going nowhere. It used to be back in the day, the metal on this was steel, and they used it as the ground, and they found out that as it got old and rusty, if there was a short, because this is such a long coil, it would turn red hot, like a heating element. Okay, so I marked this one red, but I got black and white down here. It doesn't matter. The two blacks are going to go together for the 220. And why it's 220 is in your service panel box, there's a center conductor which is neutral, which is related to your earth ground. They're tied together in your box. But that's the conductor that carries the current back to the transformer, the neutral, the center tab. And then there's a leg of, usually it's a red wire and a black wire, and it's a sine wave of 120 volts AC, which is about 300 volts peak to peak. But they're out of phase by 180 degrees. So when this hump is going up on one phase, the other hump is going down. So when they're opposite to each other, the average voltage on there is 240 volts. So that's why you can get 220 by using hot wires off in different phases. If they're on the same phase, you won't get anything. You'll just get, because there's no electrical differential between the two, there's no current's going to flow. You can get shocked and knocked on your butt. And I'm leaving 6 inches of wire, according to code. Okay. I'm not sure if we got yellow connector over good on these or not. It shouldn't hurt if it fits tight. It should fit. And don't use those real hard plastic wire nuts. They don't have any soft compliance. Therefore, they don't kind of expand and slide over the wires. And I just don't think they make as good a connection. Okay. So I'm going to try a yellow. Looks awful small. I'm going with reds. I want to make sure it covers the strip part of the wire. But as I said, I like, because you can see the wire nut actually expands, so it's slightly flexible. So you know that spring screw thread that's inside is actually expanding and working its way over the tips of the wires to squeeze them together tightly and give it a greater contact surface area. Now you don't have to twist the wires off. You know, just nice and tight. You can tell. Use your sense. Common sense here. Sometimes that's missing. Okay, so what's left? We just have our 110 voltage here. 120, whatever your average is in your panel box. So I say right here on the wall, red and white is the furnace, 120 volts. So I'm going to attach these two guys together first. Three-quarters of an inch strip or so. Use a good pair of strippers so you don't cut your wires. You don't want to nick your wires, because that will reduce the capacity of them. And also they could fatigue and break as you're twisting or putting the wire nut on. I had that happen once. I must have stripped something at my lake property too hard. And wouldn't you know, it was the floodlights that were 20-some feet from the ground up on the peak of the barn, of course. try to like make the wires all suspend so they're not like rubbing against the sides of the box anywhere. They're literally just suspended in the middle of the box. No contact with anything. Another pet peeve. Not required by code, just required by brain. All right, this is our last connection. I promised you that I wasn't going to be doing any more wiring, but I said I might do the furnace wiring. And there's not a lot of interesting stuff to do today. Okay. And these wing nuts aren't, wire nuts aren't too bad. They've got wings on them that help you tighten very easily. All right, perfect, right? All nice and not touching anything somewhere here. I thought I brought the cover. Again, all your boxes got to have covers by code. When you're done wiring, that is. I'll be back in just a second. All right, I found the cover. Pretty simple. There's just a couple of corner screws, which they look like they're already loosened. And that's it. It's already labeled what's in there. Good enough? So all we got to do is turn the breakers on when we want to run them. I actually could hook my air compressor up and try that, but right now there's all this stuff in the way. Eventually, I think it's going to end up in this corner. So as I said, eventually it's going to end up, my battery died. It's going to end up in this corner somewhere, but I want to build like 2-foot deep shelves all the way along to that window. They'll cut down around the window, but they'll go up as high as that window. So I'm probably going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 levels. So I got a high shelf, 7-foot shelf to put big boxes up on top of. I guess I could just leave the compressor up. Maybe I'll just put the compressor here, a few feet out. My workbenches will run from here somewhere all the way down. Now I'm going to build one big bench. I've got some steel frames to use for the legs, and I've got all the scaffolding, as you can see, the scaffold plank still outside. And I've got my workbench from inside the barn area of the workshop. I got a roll around for the air tools. I think I'm going to put my rolling tool cabinets here, or maybe right down inside the door, because you got to do something in the house, you got to run out and get a tool. And I think they'll be close enough to the wall that driving cars in to put on the lift won't be any problem. Okay. I probably should tape off. I got all the breakers taped off though. Let's go down here. Let's see what's in the panel box. Oh yeah, can you read that? Main, air compressor taped off, car lift take off, spare and the furnace are taped off. Okay, everything else is on right now. The welder isn't on, but it could be. The welder outlet is down behind the edge of the insulation there. The old outlet, I just moved it from the wall over here. Okay, we're coming right along with this nitpicky stuff. Ideally, I think I'm going to start putting wood up in here to block the cold air from coming down through. What do you think, guys? I'm trying to decide how wide I think it needs to be. Gosh, it kind of looks like I can shove the board right straight up in without having to cut any screws off. That would be choice. I just got to figure out how wide. It looks like 4, 8, 10 inches. Whatever I got wood left. All right, and they're only going to be 23 inches wide, 22 and a half. I'm going to start measuring. So these are the slots where the rafters hang over on the original barn building and go up into the attic, and that used to be for ventilation from the perforated soffit here. Well, now all the cold air in the attic is flowing right down into this barn. So I've been cutting pieces of scrap to see if I can block it out. And of course, it's a smidge too wide. I think it'll fit. All right, I gotta go cut this off a little bit, 1/4 inch. I'll be back. See, I don't want to make it too tight. I want to keep it rolling proof if I can. And okay, come on, baby. Slide it in. Still just a smidge too tight. Oh, come on. That's hitting the screws on the rafter, the hurricane strips. I gotta go do it. All right, we're back again. One more try. I like to call this stuff, it's the consistency of graham crackers. That's what OSB is. Awesome. All right. Can I get my driver in? Yes, I can. Oh, sweet. All right, so now I just got to do that to all the joist spaces here. Looks like I've got to cut a nail in this one, so I got to get my magic wiggle saw thing out and cut this next nail. But I'm not going to show you all this. I'm just going down through the whole thing here. Well, all right. You can see that I have blocked off every one of these. Now I think I'm going to have to go and caulk the sides of some of these. All the way down. Anyway, that stops the big slot and all the cold air falling down in here. And so, I'm going to worry you around here, make you get dizzy. So, that will help the salamander heat a lot better. There are some cracks, so I just need to come down the sides, you know, or down the sides and around the edges. These ones were a little narrower because it's the wood that I have, and there's already a 2x4 there. So that needs a good squirt of caulking, something that the rodents won't chew. I don't think they'll chew silicone. So any of these with a gap like that one, I'll silicone. I had to I had to notch for some wires here. But yeah, that's keeping a crap load of cold air. It was just like a waterfall of cold air coming down out of the attic. So we're sealed for now. Alrighty. Whew. We're going to take a break now, and I'm going in to eat. It's dark. The wind is blowing like a banshee. I've done enough work for today. That's something I wanted to get done. I wanted to get that wire run. That's an accomplishment. I measured how far out those are and wrote it on the wall so I can find the centers when the ceiling's covered. Yep. You saw me wire the box. We're coming right along. I'm you know, whittling away on all the little jobs. I'm going to hang strip lights on the bottom of this. You can see the 2x4. I'm going to hang 4-foot lights right on the bottom of these. Right over my workbenches. Won't that be nice? I'll have a light right in front of my face. Close to the wall too, so that I don't work in my own shadow. It'll be perfect. I got them for like $9.99 a piece from Sunpack, something like that. Sunpack Solar, LED. Anyway, it's the same company I got these lights from, and they were very reliable and very inexpensive. Of course, probably China Gate. All right, guys, I'm out of here.